had to have a light post for over near the barn. This was the first year that they'd had it, and they were planning on a pretty big show, and they'd just been having little things, 50, 75 people around for years. Well, he decides he wants to get a telephone pole from over in the woods where the stage had been years before, but they had abandoned that. They wound up putting it back over there. But he drags me over there, or gets me to go over there with him to get that pole. He wrestled an old light pole out of the ground, put me he got back about a third of the way, took the heavy end of it and got back about a third of the way into the pole where he was carrying most of the weight, put me all the way on the end, on the backside. And he literally, for an eighth of a mile anyhow, an eighth to a quarter of a mile, drugged me through old barbed wire fences that was down in that bottom there that they put the road through, blackberries, everything else, drugged me back over there. I got over there, he tore the legs out of my breeches, and he was just laughing about it. You had mentioned something in there about him throwing that baseball at me. He sets me up. They had an old concrete block outhouse behind the barn out there. So he wants to throw a baseball. And my dumb self, I didn't have no more sense. I got a catcher's mitt, went out there, he stood me in front of that block outhouse and started throwing the ball at me. And my next door neighbor, up here at Salem, we've got a farm club team for the Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or somebody up here in Salem. That's who they used to be for. My next door neighbor actually, in high school, went up and tried out for the team and made that farm club team up there. So I had caught a guy who could throw a ball pretty hard. Monroe started cutting down on me with that damn baseball, and the next thing, about 10 or 15 minutes, they started coming at me. And finally, one come at me, and it took my left arm and pulled it up past the side of my head and everything over back, and I just looked out. I said, Mr. Bill, it's, I need to be able to play this weekend. You might ought to back off on them a little bit. Well, shoot, you might as well have waved a red flag in front of a bull, because the next one he cut loose of it, and I just ducked it. I put my head to the side. It went right flying by my ear and everything, and I straight back up. Well, it ricocheted and hit me right in the back of the head and knocked me out. And I come to with him waving a baseball glove in my face, laying there. I was laying on the ground. Are you all right, boy? Are you all right? But Baker swears to me one time that the old man had a boar hog that weighed 350 pounds. And he had a creek running, and down the road came up beside the creek to his house, the creek on the other side of that road over there. And he had one of those old things where it's like a wire going across the creek with the slats of wood down to keep driftwood or something going through it. Anyhow, that hog got caught down there in a flood. And Baker swore to me that the old man went down there, wrapped his arms around that hog, and lifted it out of that creek against floodwater current. And it just, he was amazingly strong. Even up when he had human will like nobody else I've ever known.